Hey Scorpios, how y'all doing? Welcome. We're going to be doing your April general reading here. So let's get right into your meditation. The first thing that I saw was a train station. Okay. And I was, from the viewer standpoint, I was several tracks over, right? So I was standing on a platform, right? And then there were two different sets of train tracks. And then on the other opposing platform, I saw a metal ox, And I do believe it is the year of the metal ox in the Chinese zodiac, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a very particular energy. I want to say to you also, I picked up on feels like a transmutation of impatience. A transmutation of impatience. There's a trope that comes across a lot in different films and books and whatever have you, where there's the elder, right? The archetype of the elder. And they'll be speaking to our hero of the story or heroine of the story and say like, oh, you young people, you're always in a rush. When you get to my age, you'll realize that all you have is time. And there's never really any reason to rush. And that feels like it feels like a thread within this reading, or that's part of a larger tapestry, but it feels rather as though it's the foundational thread, okay? A transmutation of impatience. So I'm looking at this metal ox, okay, from across the other platform. I'm like, okay, what is this? And it was a very strong energy of, inner movement and stillness and readiness. And I saw these trains pass, and the metal ox made no movement, but it was not, lackadaisical. It was ready, but not yet moving. And then there was a time when there were no trains at all. And I saw the metal ox make its way into the middle of the train tracks where there was no train. And there was this energy around whatever train comes next, that's a train. Like, I'm not jumping on a train that comes. I'm moving into this position of readiness. And whenever this train comes along, like, that'll be the train. I'm trusting the timing. I'm not impatient. I'm not going to jump or move in some way, shape, or form, just either for the sake of doing so because other people are doing it, or because it might feel, good just to be on a train at all. When I think about trains, I mean, they're very much, a symbol of, obviously movement, transition, and also, navigation, right? Navigating with purpose, right? That's interesting. That's coming through too. So orcas. Let's talk about orcas briefly. So what I know of orca medicine is that their tagline is navigate with purpose. That feels very apt for you guys. Orca medicine, orca energy. Orcas are also very much about their pod and their given tribe and family and driving their strength and movement from that as well. Orcas also don't second guess where they're going or their move. They're able to move very instinctively and very quickly. Oh God, I'm so obsessed. So yeah, orca is strong energy for you. The elk. I love this so much. So elk. So this equates to the emperor in the tarot. So this is really not a surprise at all, because we're talking about orca medicine, which is an apex predator, which is about, navigating with purpose and strong and being very self-assured in terms of never being in a rush, right? The quickest way to pop ourselves out of alignment is to rush. And it's like you are exhibiting that in its truest positive form through action and mindful inaction during this time. Mindful inaction, right? Also, this does, like I said, equate to the Emperor, which is Aries energy. We are talking about the fourth month of the year, Aries, all of that good stuff. So I feel like this is a special note, an extra indication that you are in a lovely place of potential alignment this month, which is beautiful. Now, let's also talk about this elk, this ultra masculine energy here. This is such a comfort whenever this comes up, because this is a note to say, like, wherever you are is exactly where you're meant to be. You're grounded, you're secure. There's not a whole lot of, what about this analysis paralysis or, fear. It's that, energy of I am where I am what I am who I am. And wherever I'm going, That's where I'm meant to go. Like, it's a very self-assured, confident, grounded, cared for energy. It's really interesting as well. Remember when I said the orcas are very much about their pod and their family? They're all about family. And then we had the, mega papa matriarch here popping up with the elk. So there could also be elements of, you mindfully looking after other people or being in that position of leadership, or where you are considering other people's needs and long-term goals as well as your own. But this is very comforting, very secure, very stable, and wonderful. I love, love, love the earth energy for you. It's beautiful. All right, what's going on, Scorpio? What's going on? Navigate with purpose. Oh my God, I just not surprised at all. Four of Forces. So this equates to a Four of Wands as energy, but because this is the Akashic Tarot, it's its own thing. So it's not exactly Four of Wands energy, but that's technically what it equates to. So you have 4 for 4 here, loving it. So this is all about getting going versus being still. So I love that this came up for you because look, in the upright position, we have springtime here. 4th month of the year, springtime. Just post spring equinox. I'm absolutely here for it. You guys are in a special place this month. I'm really liking it. So this is what? New, birth, movement, blooming, all of that good stuff. High potential, yes. High potential. And then on the flip side, we have autumn, right? Which is this opposite season, right? This is when you're harvesting things and preparing to go into the stillness and quiet, and dark time of the year, right? So we just are going into the light time of year, right? And this is the dark time of the year. So it's really, really interesting. So when I hold it to you like this, right? Or would it be like this? Yeah, it'd be like, well, no, like this. That train platform with that track running down the middle. And I was over here watching, right? And you guys were over here just very intentionally, exhibiting, patience and exact timing and purposeful timing, right? The transmutation of impatience, right? Navigating with purpose, and then going into this middle space and going, whatever train comes next, that's a train, right? I don't meet the train meets me. Ooh, I don't meet the train meets me. But this is definitely a time of action and purpose. Also, look at the similar colors there as well. I love this. I will say that does feel like a special note. I do feel like I want to take this quite literally and say there's a special shout out to your birthday season for this year, which does come in the autumn if you're in the northern hemisphere. So that does feel like there's something about this time right now that is either going to complete itself or reach a pinnacle or hold some sort of later significance around that time. 6 of Roses. The War of the Roses. If anyone is familiar with English history, that's what we're looking at here. Or familiar with the Henry plays, it's Shakespeare. We have the Plantagenets and the Yorks. Oh God. 6 of Roses, to me, this is very much a 6 of Cups energy gone, stale, or that water that, like a still lake water that's a bit nasty. You don't really want to swim in. Wouldn't you choose to swim in a river over a lake if you could? I mean, not like a dangerous river, but because the water purifies itself running over the rocks and everything versus like a stagnant lake can be a lot. So we have the Yorks here with the white rose and the Plantagenets with the, the red rose here. And then we have this flag here on the bottom, which is incorporating both, right? The red and the white, which when the two houses came together and all that. For me, this is saying to you that there's this aspect here, because look at this place. Doesn't this look like the two sides of the railroad track here? And then you're here in the middle, like whatever train comes next is a train. I feel like you are at an interesting impasse. But what is interesting about said impasse is that, listen, a lot of times things are dictated by how we perceive them, right? So one person's impasse is another one's, moment of anxiety and terror where you don't know what's coming next. You know what I mean? It's all about how you look at it. And another one's a much needed, time to contemplate and consider, right? So this to me is saying, I feel like there's this aspect where you are reaching a point where you're going, there is a new cycle forming either within me and or around me. I can feel it. I'm seeing change. I'm feeling the change. I'm feeling like things are about to shift, right? Rather significantly in some way, shape, or form. Again, this could be internal, external, both, or either, whatever have you. And I feel like you're at a point where you're going, okay, this flag in the middle, right, which is on the ground, right? In what way have I been ascribing to other people's timetables or timetables that I've given myself that are now outdated and do not serve me? What do I mean by this? Let me give you an example. Let me just give you an example. I thought that by this age, I would be here. I thought that by this time in life, I would have ABC, XYZ figured out and on tap. I always thought that, right? There's this energy here with the War of the Roses, right? With the two houses here in the background, the stormy skies, and this impasse as well, where I feel like you are being invited to reconsider where you are and allow yourself a shift in perception. It wants to happen, and I feel like part of the purpose behind it is if you can, and this can be very, very helpful, if you can acknowledge, right, in terms of the divine timing of things, or if you don't really like that terminology, you can just say like, why would you want something sooner or later than, when it's meant to happen for you? Remember, you are your choices as well. So if you are not where you thought you would be at this point in your life, who thought that? Was it you? Was it your parents? Was it society? If it was you, where did that come from? And how did that serve you? How did that line of thinking serve you? What is your relationship to time and age and where you are at this given point? Can you open up your perspective? And I'm seeing a horse with the blinders on. Can you just release any blinders that you may not even be cognizantly aware of? Because sometimes society or the way in which we were raised gives us certain blinders. And then sometimes, later in life, we get into therapy or through time and we go, God, I've had these very specific blinders on. I did not even know that I was ascribing to this. But hey, that's what it is. And there can be a freedom within even acknowledging and observing that within for yourself. And I feel like there's an energy here where you're being asked to, reconsider your relationship to where you are not, where you thought you would be, and take the time to have some purposeful thought and intention about navigating with purpose, like we said, and about where you would like to go. Because when you are ready, the train will appear. This isn't about a train coming and I'm going to jump on that opportunity. When you are ready, the right one will appear. And that's what it is. That's what I'm feeling. All right. Let me get some tea because we're about to drop some tea. Yep. You got the karmic trench. Another 4. Hey. Listen, the karmic trench. This comes into play when you are attracting the same thing over and over. Now, this could be the same kind of, person, the same kind of, bosses that aren't your favorite kind of bosses, the same kind of, habits or patterns within and for yourself where you get really, excited about a project, but then you end up like talking yourself out of it or moving on to something else or like, all of that, right? It's when you keep, this is awfully familiar. Why does this keep on happening? Why do I keep on meeting the same person just in different bodies? Why do I keep falling back into this pattern and I can't seem to just move? Well, that is the karmic trench. Now, what is required in order to dig yourself out of, because this is oddly what we were just talking, oddly similar to what we were just talking about. And look at these lines. Do you see the line down the middle and the line down the middle with the 2 train tracks and then the line here? Interesting. The shovel that is needed to dig yourself out of said karmic trench is to first practice awareness, right? Again, back to those, is that a horse? I was just talking about a horse with blinders. Hello and goodbye. It's to first practice awareness and see like, okay, I understand that things aren't happening at me. And in what way have I been served by attracting this same thing over and over? What did this give me? Even if it appears to be less than ideal on the surface, what did I actually get out of it in some way, shape, or form? Was this attracting the same kind of relationship over and over and over, proving myself right that I am not worthy of a reciprocal and loving connection? And that's what I got out of it. Proof that I was right, that I wasn't worthy to begin with. Something that I learned from childhood. See where I'm going with this? I know that that's rather deep and a bit of a head crusher, but that's what the karmic trench is all about. So when you can recognize what you did get out of it or how it served you, then you are able to, from a place of, observation and then perspective, take steps to make different choices. So the shovel that takes you out of this karmic trench is making different choices, right? Making different choices. I just felt someone's chest kind of go, whoa. This is very involved with the heart. I got to tell you, I feel it in my chest in terms of like the heart center. It just feels, it feels emotional. It feels, it does feel like it has a lot to do with also, setting yourself up for this new chapter and new potential going forward. Whoa. Because I do not think that, this energy coming up here is saying like, what you've been doing has been working on every single level. The energy that I'm picking up on here is that there's something, a pattern or a potential that hasn't yet been realized that you're about ready for. And this is the ABC and the 1, 2, 3 and the map of, how to get there, right? Strength. And yes, that is an ox. That is a ox indeed. So I love that I saw the metal ox in your meditation, and you got the ox coming up here. So this is a really strong energy with you at the moment, so because we got the ox, saw it in meditation, let's briefly discuss. Excuse me, I keep clearing throat. Oxen represent strength, reliability, endurance, perseverance, and also a propensity to defend or protect others that are weaker than themselves or in some way disenfranchised, right? So strength, traditionally speaking, it's interesting because I have a unique, a newfound appreciation and different perspective on the strength key. And normally when the strength key comes up, it's about like, strength is needed. So, hey, like things are going to be a bit difficult. You're going to need to pull on some inner reserves here. But I do feel like in this context, right? And especially with how I've been feeling about strength recently, strength isn't necessarily about, pulling yourself by your bootstraps and deriving, strength from the divinity within and around you. And even a lot of the things that I've said about the strength key over time. But I will tell you, especially with this infinity symbol here, strength is something that is always within you. And I feel like you access it on a fairly regular basis. It's not something that it's like, oh, I need you now. Come on out. Let me dust the cobwebs off because, shit's hitting the fan. So I feel like it is always within you. And that strength is something that accumulates and builds over time. And it's also something that allows you to be grateful for the times that, and caused you to build that strength, right? Those charged events, those significant moments or happenings in your life, right? It's kind of, you know what I'm saying? I'm seeing someone with scars on their body. Like, I'm not saying like anything too serious, but like scars that you get from being alive. Look, I have one right here. I don't know if you can see that. I don't need to be showing you scars, but anyway, I have one right here from a certain cat I used to know and love. And it's one of those things where it's like those marks of remembrance to go like, oh yeah, like I remember that. It's a scar that's with me, but it's also healed now and I can appreciate, you know what I mean? Like that moment and how it's led me here and how it is benefiting me even now as I look back and go, yeah, I have this scar, right? The fact that this is saying like movement, it's a time to move forward, navigate with purpose, like we said. And then we have the strength key here, which is this ox literally carrying this heavy load in a cart and moving forward. This to me is talking about how I saw you go into the middle of the track and go, the next train that comes is mine. And it's going to come when I'm ready for it. That's exactly what this is saying. Also, I'm getting another feeling around the autumn for you. It feels strong and pertinent. For the roses. Special note for somebody, I do feel like there's a move. This might surprise you. And I don't mean that to be scary. Like a move, a happy move, an opportunity for a move, living somewhere else or moving or changing one's lifestyle or routine in a way. It feels highly beneficial and like a happy surprise. I like that we have the Fool on the bottom. Hey, new beginnings. Ace of Wands with the War of Roses. This is really interesting considering the navigate with purpose thing. And then we have the Ace of Wands here. So Ace of Wands, again, with this masculine energy, the wands rule the realm of the actions that we take, right? Our passions, our desires, our artistry, our creativity. And then we have this firefly here, which is so beautifully represented. And I want to say why I'm so obsessed with this. Because fireflies, part of firefly medicine is that they burn really brightly, right? Obviously, you don't say. But on the flip side of that, as a counterpoint, they also, when they go out, they need a lot of time to recharge energetically, right? So This is saying like what burns brightly will fade out just as quickly type deal here, right? Remember when I was saying that you could be involved in certain patterns or way of doing things where you get, just for an example, you get really excited about a project and you say you're going to do something and you're all pumped up and you're all ready and you're going and you're starting to do it. And then things happen and suddenly you're not doing it anymore. You talk yourself out of it, or you find reasons to be busy, or like things just magically come up that you have to do that take precedent. And before you know it, you've broken the routine or pattern. And it's like, oh yeah, what about that, right? It's interesting that this is being clarified by the Ace of Wands, which is that burst of creativity coming in here, but also the propensity to also stop what you've started, right? I feel like you're being called to really examine those patterns here within for yourself. What have you started and stopped that you regret now, or that you may, want to pick up again and breathe new life into, right? Also, I'm hearing for somebody, are you being honest with yourself about what you're truly passionate about? And let me let you in on a little something. To be passionate about something, you don't have to know a whole lot about it. Passion is not something that's accrued through research and time. I mean, sometimes it'd be that way, right? But if you're passionate about something, you do not need a rhyme or reason for it. You just are. And a lot of the times that's something in your energy linking up to, a purpose of some sort. You're going, you know what? I don't know why, but I'm really obsessed with this, or I really can't stop thinking about this, and I want to learn all about it, right? So following those points, and sometimes it can be the thing itself that leads you to something very exciting and linked to your purpose in some way. But other times it's just a step on the rung of the ladder, right? So it's just about following that first M&M that's a trail in the woods, like you're leaving M&Ms like your trail, which leads you to the next one and the next one and the next one. It's like I say with like the yellow brick road, that you have to take the first step for the next one to appear. And you take that one, and then not until you do that will the next one appear, right? So there's an energy of that too. Karmic trench. I feel like for a good group of you guys, I'm tapping into a very particular energy that you are capable of much more than perhaps you think, or that you've even yet to experience. Your potential feels particularly untapped as of yet, which is an exciting thought, because that means that if maybe you've only tapped into like a quarter of it, or even half of it, or whatever percentage of it, and there's a lot more to draw from, a lot more growth to be had, and a certain acceleration of purpose that I'm picking up on as well. So we have the Hanged Man here to clarify the karmic trench. Exactly what I was saying already. This is taking the time to pause and flip your perspective and see something differently. Going back to the karmic trench, the shovel that's getting you out of this trench is making different choices. In order to make different choices, you must first honestly observe what your choices have been, what you got out of them. And, a good example is, it can be easy to blame others for things that have not gone our way. But truthfully, we do co-create everything, and going, what did I get out of that? How did that serve me? How did that, in whatever way, prove me right about certain beliefs that I had about myself that I was a vibration to, and that's why I attracted that experience, right? It's time to get very clear if you so choose, right? Observe yourself, be honest with yourself, so that you then have the freedom, this horse in the background here, right, to make different choices. You know what's really fascinating? Do you see the ox with the cart here? Do you see this horse and the cart right here? I'm taking this as a deeper meaning. There could be a good group of you guys that are holding on to some things that could be Marie Kondo'd as well. These could absolutely be physical things. I feel like for others of you, there's something to do with like family. Something to do with family. Oh, obviously you have the Emperor as well. Yeah, definitely. Sort of belief system that you adopted in your family, or just old pain there, or something to do with the family that wants to be released. Okay. Oh, and the orca too. Yeah, definitely. All right. Ooh. Oh, I love it. Ooh, hummingbird on the bottom. Hey, I actually feel like this is for you as well. Okay. So we have the Ancient Ones and the Hummingbird. The Ancient Ones are directly tying into the karmic trench of it all, right? The Ancient Ones are about taking the time to connect in with the aspect of yourself, or even the elders around you. They don't even have to be related to you. But there are people who take on the role of elders in our life who bless us with wisdom, regardless of their age, right? And you're being asked to, See how she has this kind of mask on? I feel like there's someone around you or some set of resources that can help you with this work in terms of broadening your scope and shifting your perspective. I feel like the Hanged Man is something that the Ancient Ones is coming in to comment on and saying there is help around you with this. This is something that might be best done through a series of conversations, okay? Either through therapy, talk therapy, or through discussing it with trusted friends. Right, and go, hey, can I just talk this through? This is on mind. Or, hey, like, what do you think about this pattern? Why do you think I keep a chart? What do you see, Hanged Man? What do you see, outside party who doesn't have a pony in the race? Can you help me find perspective or add to your own perspective, right? It's the third eye, right? And you have the hummingbird here, which is such a beautiful, light-hearted energy. I feel like this is your potential. I feel like this is your map and potential. This is commenting on the karmic trench and the Hanged Man, right? And the hummingbird is saying, like, this is the potential before you where there's a freedom here, a lightness of being, but also information and potential moving forward from which you can integrate, grow, learn from, and as a result, make different, informed choices from a place of healing and self-knowledge, self-awareness as well. Also with the Ancient Ones, I always like to say with this key, like, what's true is true. And there's no denying it, and there's no changing it, and sometimes it is what it is. And I feel like that is definitely for someone. It has to having to do with this family or being where you are, where you thought you wouldn't be, whatever have you. I feel like that's a helpful mantra. It's like, hey, sometimes acceptance is nothing more than it is what it is. Accept it. Beautiful. All right, Scorpios, woo, this is your general reading. I so hope that this helped and resonated with you. If so, please do let me know in the comments below if you would. I love reading your comments. And with that being said, just thank you. Thank you so, so much for being here. And as always, and most of all, thank you for being you. And be well. Until next time.